All right, let's get into this. The one thing rule, default to no. Focus on subtraction. Minimize your wardrobe. Single tasking. One-page planning. Simplify your nutrition. Find your people. Get obsessed. I used to be one of those people that thought the key to high performance in my career and even in life was about adding more hours, more hustle, more systems, more apps, more routines. And the reason that I thought that is because I was reading all the books, the personal development books, the business books. I was listening to the podcasts of the 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs, and almost all of them were talking about doing more. Add this, start doing this. And at the time, I was a few years removed from retiring from the NFL, and I was trying to find success as an entrepreneur. I knew how to be successful as a pro athlete. I knew exactly what to do and what not to do. But when it came to business and honestly life in some ways, life outside the bubble of pro sports, I was lost. And so I did all the things the books and the successful entrepreneurs were talking about on the podcast. And what I realized after several years was that I wasn't more optimized or more productive or even more successful. I was overwhelmed and I was drowning in all the things that I was adding. I was making no progress. So if you've ever felt this way, here's your permission to stop. Stop adding and stop doing more, because the truth is the people that really reach the high levels of success and performance, high performance, and can sustain it over time, they're not adding, they're subtracting. They've mastered the art of doing less, but better. They strip away everything that doesn't matter or isn't useful so they can focus all their energy on the things that do matter, the things that are truly important. So today, I want to walk you through the 9 essentialist habits that I believe unlock high performance in business and in life. And look, these aren't just fluffy hacks. These are habits that I've lived and habits that I've seen top leaders practice, and they're things that anyone can start doing. Doesn't matter if you're running a company or you're just trying to get unstuck in life. These are universal. Before I get into this, if you find that you get some value from the video, hit the subscribe button for me and give the video a like. All right, let's get into this, and let's start with maybe the simplest and most powerful one of all. Number 1, the one thing rule. If you've ever read the book, The One Thing, you'll be familiar with this concept. Every day, ask yourself, what's the one thing that if I nail it, makes everything else easier or maybe even unnecessary? In doing this, you're essentially stating your priority for the day. And notice I said priority, not priorities, plural. In the book Essentialism, Greg McKeown says that if everything's a priority, nothing is. The word priority was never meant to be plural. The reason this is so important is because most people drown in to-do lists full of their multiple priorities. And that's because we often confuse activity with achievement. But this one thing mindset forces you to cut through the noise and focus on the singular task or thing that's most important. So if you have a to-do list, keep it. I'm not telling you to get rid of it. And regardless of how many things you have on it, I want you to find that one most important thing. That thing that if you accomplish makes everything else easier, or again, maybe even unnecessary. Focus your time and energy on getting that one done first. And if you get that one most important thing done, that's a win for the day. That's momentum. Number 2, default to no. Look, for most of us, the default is yes. We say yes to every meeting, every opportunity, every favor that a friend or colleague asks of us, and then we wonder why our life feels cluttered and chaotic and we have no time, or we're always feeling exhausted or burned out. So essentialism really flips that. The default is no, and when the default is no, you clear space to go all in on the few things that you say yes to, and you're able to do those things with more energy and more focus. In economic terms, they call this opportunity cost, and it just says that if I invest time, energy, or resources into this thing, I can't allocate that same time, energy, or resources into this other thing. So every yes is a trade-off, and we want to trade wisely. Here's a really good way to filter this. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And that's not about being selfish or self-centered. It's simply about setting boundaries and being clear about what you will and won't do. Think about it like this. Every time you say yes to what's unimportant, you're saying no to what's essential and what truly matters or moves the needle. So ask yourself, does this move me closer to what I want to accomplish or who I want to become? If not, it's a no. Number 3, focus on subtraction. Here's a trap that we all fall into. We love to add. I talked about this in the intro. We love to add new hacks, new apps, new productivity systems, the new 12-step, 3-hour morning routine that if we just complete it, that'll set us up for a highly productive day. But here's the truth. Health, happiness, high performance, all these things that we want in life are rarely achieved by piling on more. The real needle mover is stripping things away. So if your calendar or your habits or your diet or even your business feels messy or chaotic or cluttered, don't ask what can I add, ask what can I remove. Number 4, minimize your wardrobe. This one seems small, but I promise you it's massive. If you've ever heard of decision fatigue, you understand how much of a game changer it can be to pare down your wardrobe. Decision fatigue is mental or emotional exhaustion that results from too many choices, which ultimately leads to a decline in the quality of our decisions over time. So from the moment you wake up, every decision, every little seemingly insignificant choice that you make burns mental fuel. And the amount of mental fuel that we have on a given day is finite. So we don't want to waste it spending 30 minutes in the morning going through our closet, trying on multiple different outfits, trying to figure out what to wear. This idea of decision fatigue got really popular in the mid-2000s when people noticed that minimalists like Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg were wearing the same thing every day. And it wasn't because they lacked style. Maybe they do, maybe they did, but it was more because they understood that saving mental energy by not burning it on trivial stuff leaves more in the tank for the meaningful stuff, for the big decisions. A few years ago, when I moved cities, I went through this process by going through my closet and getting rid of nearly 3/4 of my wardrobe. I pared it down to a handful of shirts, hoodies, pants, shorts, jackets, etc. And this is something I do every year now, and it's a game changer. Every time I add a new item, I remove one that no longer gets a lot of wear or a lot of use. One in, one out. And look, I'm not saying you need to wear the same outfit every day, but simplify your wardrobe, streamline it, make it easy, because that energy that you're saving adds up. Number 5, single tasking. Here's an unpopular opinion. Multitasking is a myth, so if you think you're good at it, you're not. What you're really doing is what's called task switching, and every switch burns more time and more mental energy because your brain has to constantly refocus. Essentialist mindset would have you commit to one tab, one task, one focus at a time, and that's where real flow comes from, when you get locked in and things seem easy, and that's where high quality work gets done. So try this. Next time you're working, shut down every tab but the one that you're using. Maybe put your phone in another room. Eliminate all distractions. And it'll feel uncomfortable at first, but I promise that discomfort is the doorway to deep focus, high productivity, and ultimately high performance. Number 6, one-page planning. If you've ever heard the phrase, complexity is the enemy of execution, I'm here to tell you it's true. Overly complex plans and ideas kill execution. So if your goals and your strategy don't fit on one page, it's too complicated. The essentialist mindset really cuts through that fluff and gets brutally clear. Here's what I want, here's how I'll get there, and here's how I'll measure it. And that's it. In my book, Be a Pro, which is available on Amazon, by the way, I've got an entire chapter dedicated to the importance of having a clean, clear, concise plan, and also how to formulate that. So remember, clarity beats complexity every time. You can't execute on what you can't easily explain. Number 7, simplify your nutrition. Look, food is fuel, and that's no big revelation, but for a lot of people, food becomes clutter, endless decisions, endless temptations, and then worst of all, endless guilt. Essentialists keep nutrition really simple. They decide on a few go-to meals, high quality ingredients, and repeatable systems. I adopted this mindset a few years ago when I went on the keto diet. That diet can seem really complicated and pretty restrictive, and so to combat that, I figured out a handful of keto certified meals that I enjoyed, and I just rotated those throughout the course of my week. Never had to stress or decide about what I was going to eat. I only had a few choices, and I knew that I liked them all, so it was quick and simple, and it kept me on track and it gave me great results. So think of it like this. If you're burning mental energy and bandwidth trying to figure out what to eat 3 times a day, that's energy that's stolen from other important areas of your life. So strip it down. Find a handful of go-to meals and just rinse and repeat. Number 8, find your people. This is an essentialist habit that I feel like not enough people talk about. Simplify your relationships. And look, it can be hard, but it's so necessary and so beneficial. You absolutely have to cut ties with the energy vampires, the people who consistently take more from you than they give and who cause you stress, unrest, more than they bring you peace and fulfillment. Stop investing in these relationships and go all in on the relationships and the people who encourage growth, who lift you up, who believe in you, support you, and add true value to your life. None of us need hundreds of acquaintances. We need a select few real ones. The right circle isn't just support, it's jet fuel, and that's essential. Number 9, get obsessed. This is the closer because essentialism isn't about less passion, it's about more passion, more fire for the few things that really matter. In the book Think and Grow Rich, one of the OG books on success and personal development, Napoleon Hill called this your burning desire. I call it obsession. Find the one thing, one goal, one dream, one endeavor that lights you up so much that you can't not pursue it, and then strip away everything else that competes with it. If you've watched any of my previous videos on the channel, you've heard me talk about obsession at length and what I think people get wrong about it. People think it's so all-consuming that it would only complicate their lives or cause them more overwhelm or more burnout, but it's the opposite. Obsession simplifies, clarifies, and allows you to focus on the one thing or things that matter most. Being obsessed actually combats overwhelm and burnout. It brings about deep focus and deep fulfillment. And pursuing high performance, health, happiness, and success shouldn't leave you feeling empty. It should leave you feeling abundant and full of all the right thing. So those are my 9 essentialist habits that unlock high performance, and none of them are flashy. Most are about subtraction, not addition, and that's the point. Greatness doesn't come from adding more chaos. It comes from stripping away what doesn't matter and clarifying, simplifying, and focusing on what matters most. So here's my question to you. Which one of these habits do you need to implement first? Because I don't want you to try to do all 9 of them all at once. Pick one, and I challenge you to master it and watch how that changes the game. Guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.